Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Stacey West preview show. Now, before we get into this preview with our excellent Portsmouth supporting guest, we just have a little bit of admin to go through. A big thank you to all those who tuned in for the first instalment of the West End Imps Show that we did on Sunday lunchtime, dissecting the Exeter City game. If you still haven't watched that, it's still up on the channel page, so feel free to go and watch that. Also, a massive thank you to my co-host Chris Conrad for coming on the channel and putting his opinion out there. I thought he did excellent on his first appearance on the channel. That series will be weekly, sometimes twice weekly, depending on the fixtures. So that is something for you guys to look forward to, and hopefully that should continue throughout the season. Secondly, we are trying a different format for the preview this week. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this new format. As you may be aware, here at the Stacey West, we're trying to make our content better for you guys. It would mean the world to the Stacey West team if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Last year we were able to reach 500 subscribers, but this year, by the end of 2022, we are hoping to reach 1,000 subscribers. So please make sure that you always like, comment and subscribe, share it with your mates that you go to the football with. And most importantly, hit that notification bell down below, because that will make sure that you never miss an upload, whether that be from myself or any other member of the Stacey West team. Now, without further ado, shall we crack on with this preview? With us making the trip in a matter of months to face Danny Cowley's Blues, there was only ever one man fit for the job to help me preview this game. So, earlier this week, I caught up with the fantastic Tom from the popular Pompey channel, 4-0 written all over it, to discuss all things Pompey. Roll VT. Thomas, we're back. Another preview. You're back on the channel. How are we, mate?
I'm very well. I like that we're getting the first word is Thomas of Stacey West. But well, it's not the first, is it? No, because you've done a new format. So this is later on. Like it, loving it. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. All good. How was your summer off? I know you've been very busy in the off season making some banging content. Went out to Spain. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, that I was about to say when you mentioned it before we started doing this. I did go off to Spain. That was probably part of my summer off, as it were. Yeah, amazing. Spent a lot of time with Joe Morel, which you'll like, which was really cool. So he managed to chat to him and spoke to Danny at length, and it was really nice. It was kind of exclusive access that you kind of grant yourself if you go out there to Spain. They sort of repaid us in terms of standing to chat, telling us about what's going on. And just getting the opportunity to have pictures, have words with Danny, it was amazing. So yeah, but back at the football now, we're all enjoying it, aren't we? So how was your summer, mate? You all good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Obviously, last time I saw you was the playoff final that we went to down at Wembley, where Forest got promoted. Back on Pompey then, Thomas.
Yeah.
What a game you saw at Hillsborough on Saturday. 3-3 draw. I've watched the highlights this evening. 3-headed goals for Pompey. Not something you associate with Danny Cowley's side, but tell us all about your day.
Not something you associate with Pompey, actually, really, to be honest with you. I think last season we kind of, there was a drought we went through about, I think it's probably a 6-game period where we didn't score any headed goals. And then all of a sudden we popped 3 in the space of 45 minutes against Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, unbelievable. I know you've seen the video from what I was getting up to. There were teetering on the edge of ridiculous limbs, to be honest with you. People just launching themselves and crowd surfing in a mosh pit sort of thing. So, yeah, really good. On the pitch, we were impressive for 45 minutes. We were horrendous for the first 45 and brilliant for the second. I think it was partly nerves, big occasion, big place, great set of fans, great set of support, great group of players as an opposition. But we brought the numbers as well. 2,130 something Pompey fans up there cheering on the boys on the day of a train strike and all sorts going on. So yeah, all in all, mate, a 10 out of 10 away day would have been an 11 out of 10 had we clung on to that 3-2 winning position that we were in. But I turned to my mate, a couple of mates that were around me, and said, this has got 3-3 written all over it. And it had, because it was going to happen. They were always going to get that one back and not let us run away with 3 points, having dominated so much first half.
Yeah, Wednesday is one of the best away days, I think, in League One, alongside Pompey, where we're going on Saturday. talking off the pitch, then you guys have made a couple of impressive signings. We spoke on there before. I picked up Marlon Pack. You're going to tell me a different name because that's what broadcasting is all about.
Yeah, not just to try and be different from you. I would probably say, based on what I saw at Hillsborough on Saturday, that Colby Bishop is the more impressive signing than Marlon Pack, although that is not to detract from any of the work that Marlon Pack puts in and the way he runs the show in midfield. You said it on my show last night. Joe Morrell and Marlon Pack are going to be a real midfield force, and arguably, I know I'm a Pompey fan saying this, but I wouldn't put many midfielders pairings above those two in League One right now. Sheffield Wednesday probably shout to be maybe on par with those two, but when that gets going and when Morel comes back, don't know if he'll be back for Saturday. We shall see. I know he's quite close to being back. He's had a groin operation, oddly, which I think would have been a painful one, but I believe he's on the road to recovery. You may know Dave, you may know Sean, and I think they're hoping that he's going to be okay for hopefully the next week or next couple of weeks to get back. Yeah, Marlon Pack's the not the one that I pick out. Colby Bishop is. He scored twice. I know it goes down as a Jacobs goal, but you would have seen it. It pretty much crosses the line before Jacobs gets to kind of second bite of the cherry and nod it into an empty net. Colby was immense. He got an incredible reception when he came off on 75 minutes for the new boy Dane Scarlett, who was also very impressive. So that's probably three names. Colby's at the top, and then you got Marlon, and then Dane, and then you've mentioned Conor McGilvey already. Colby Bishop's going to score a lot of goals in a Pompey shirt this season. I can feel it already. He's already scored two at a tough place like Hillsborough. I just can't wait for the reception that he's going to get on Saturday at Fratton Park in front of a roaring home support of probably circa 20,000 Pompey fans inside that stadium. It's going to be immense. And I said in my video, with no disrespect to Accrington Stanley, to have an away following like that at a place like Hillsborough and have however many it was of us chanting your name after you come off after a performance like that is just... He must have gone to sleep on Saturday night thinking, oh my word, this is the best career decision I've ever made. Like, if I just want him to keep it up, just want him to keep pressing, keep scoring the goals, keep nodding in the headers, keep having a strike on goal, see where it takes him. Confidence is going to be oozing out of him going into Saturday and beyond. So yeah, Colby Bishop's my man, mate.
And whilst you employ the Cowley brothers as your managers, this fixture is going to be looked at massively from a Lincoln City point of view as well.
Yeah.
How is the King, as a lot of our supporters call him? How's he getting on? I think this season is probably going to be his year. His teams tend to get better and better as the season goes on, and hopefully you'll be feeling that towards the back end of the season as well.
He's had his 3 transfer windows that we were sort of initially... It wasn't an official kind of, we're going to give him 3 transfer windows to get himself sorted out, him and Nicky. But yeah, the King's good. He's well. He's got his mojo with him. In Spain, he was a little bit kind of... you could sense that he was feeling a bit of the pressure. He wasn't his normal buoyant self. Although, you know, he still had an awful lot about him. It's still a pleasure to chat to him and kind of even speak about things other than football. I'd found out that his wife would take his kids to a school that I was literally around the corner from growing up, kind of thing. He's good. He's well. He's he's got his mojos with him. Obviously, it's going to be talking to the press after a game and a result like that at Hillsborough, even given the first 45 that he had to endure. He's obviously leathered into them at half time on that 1-0 down. I don't know what was said. And to be honest with you, I don't think an awful lot needed to be said in terms of, I think the message was just be braver and just take a few more risks and just play with the flair and enthusiasm that's been instilled in them during the pre-season. And we ended up coming out and fighting. So, and I think that's the difference with a lot of League One clubs. And you'll be able to say this from your experience with them at Lincoln, is the messaging that Danny and Nicky can give them at half time or at a point when we can call them over. I don't think there's any two better people placed in order to rile up a team when it's needed than those two. So you look at other managers across the division, no disrespect to Ipswich, but Kieran McKenna doesn't strike me as a man who is going to deliver as much of a team talk as Danny and Nicky could, for example. So I think that's where we're really lucky. Everyone absolutely loves him. Like, he came over before the game started, players were warming up, whatever, had his little moment of applause to the fans. And, you know, it still strikes me, because how can one single bloke go up to 2,000 away fans in the gods of a stand in a stadium and then automatically get your name sung straight back at you. It must be an incredible feeling. So yeah, we're looking after the king nicely for you, mate.
Good. That's what we like to hear. Now we normally take a look at the last meeting between the two clubs, which actually wasn't that long ago.
No.
If you haven't gone and seen this man's video about that day, go and give it a view. 3-2 it ended, Tom. You were on the right side. I think it may be a last minute winner or something. We come back to 2-2. What are your thoughts on that day, and what can you remember from that afternoon?
I remember you boys were really unlucky. I feel like we robbed you a little bit there, to be honest with you, and that's me being as unbiased as I possibly can be. Although it's a mistake, isn't it? That third one, and we capitalised on that. And I know it wasn't Josh Griffiths between the sticks for that. Yeah, it was a tight fought battle, wasn't it? And the win was in your cells, the win was then in our cells, and it was back with you. Then all of a sudden, it's back with us, and it went down as a really good Danny and Nikki win at Fratton Park that resulted in forming part of a really good run towards the end of the season for us at home. I think that was part of our 10-game run where we won 8 and drew 2 at home towards the end of the season. We're looking to re-establish that form and that mojo at Fratton Park ahead of this new campaign. I just remember a really hard fought battle and two teams that are really going at it. I don't know where you were league position wise, and if there was an awful lot that you boys were fighting for at the time, but it felt like a really good advert for League One, mate.
Yeah, I think we had clinched safety a couple of weeks before or after. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Lincoln's business so far under the new manager? I don't know if you've been able to keep up to date with it. Obviously, you'll see bits on Twitter, but have you thought Lincoln had done on so far?
I'm compared to you in a terrible position to talk about this because I know you know absolutely everything. But from the outside looking in, it looks like it hasn't quite gathered the pace that you'd want it to. Really, I feel like you've made some decent signings. I think the keeper Carl Rushworth, who oddly we were looking at one point, you mentioned to me that he's had a really good loan spell at Walsall last season. So hopefully that. I don't know if he's pulled off any decent saves from the Exeter game on Saturday, which I can imagine he had a decent debut, which is good to see. In general, mate, I'm really hoping you do really well this season. I think we've been taking the mick out of your ex-boss, Michael Appleton, in terms of our own transfers from Blackpool. I don't know if you've seen anything about that. Generally, you said it to me, you know, this transfer window is not going to define Lincoln City because I think you're going to be okay to stay in the division. I think there's a lot of teams that are worse than you in the division. Although having said that, you know, you look at Port Vale's result of the weekend and how how flary they're playing, and I don't think they maybe aren't a team that will finish too far below you. If not, they might even finish above you. So you got to be careful. You'll need some decent results. Danny Mandrew, I don't know if he's going to play. That's another name that kind of sticks out as a real star rival. And the rest of them, I believe, are probably most of them are frees, aren't they? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, no, you are spot on, mate. To be fair, not paid a fee really for anyone for a while. Predictions then, Tom, for Saturday. I came on your channel and was quite emphatic in my score prediction.
You were.
Give us your take for Saturday afternoon.
I normally always go 4-0 written all over it. I won't on this occasion. I'd like a 2-1 or a 3-1 Pompey. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Griffiths concedes a goal against his former club. I think he might recognise a few faces, and yeah, I think the pressure might get to him. He might have a little bit of a relapse, and you've already told us he's got a mistake in him, and we saw that in earnest at Hillsborough. Yeah, I think we'll concede. I think the Fratton atmosphere will be your downfall, unfortunately, on Saturday. It'll be a big old homecoming, a lot of welcomes for new signings, and, you know, a lot of the vast majority of Pompey fans, but we've seen Danny and Nikki and the boys for quite some time. So it'll be a raucous atmosphere there. Electric if we can get a good foothold in the game. One thing I would say, and something that's important for you boys to hold on to perhaps, is that you know, it's another occasion for us, and there's awful lot of pressure on those boys to deliver on your first game at Fratton Park, and there'll be a lot of expectation heading into it. So that's all I would add, is that there's maybe the first 40, maybe first 20, 30, even 45 minutes will be quite a sluggish start from Pompey. And if you boys can capitalise on that and get a couple of early goals in there, then we could be talking about a completely different game. Over the course of the 90 minutes, I fancy a Pompey win. I'll go for a 2-1 Pompey.
2-1. Well, thanks for your insight, Tom. Massively appreciated. We will plug his channel in a second, but thanks for your insight, top man. So there you have it. There is the preview with Tom from the excellent 4-0 written all over it. I have put the links to his channel down in the description down below, so go and check him out. He will most likely do a matchday vlog from the game, which I'm hoping to feature on. Yeah, massively appreciated, Tom, mate. Your insight on Pompey is always excellent. Thank you, everybody, for watching this preview. Let me know what you thought of this new format in the comment section down below, and we will see you Sunday lunchtime for the West End Imps Show with myself and Chris. See you next time.